Hello there, welcome to a betterretirementlife.com. I'm your host and author. My name is Stefan Kuchar. Today we will be looking at the subject of having an active sex life in retirement. And why not? It's a subject close to many of our hearts, isn't it? But if you're like me and you've retired, you probably find that you've got a bit more time to relax and enjoy yourself. As long as you've got a good health in terms of your mental and physical well-being, there's no reason why you shouldn't enjoy something of a active sex life. So what I decided to do was to have a look at and carry out some research and see just how active sex life can be in retirement. So what did I do? Well, the first thing to say is that for most of us, we're retiring in our 60s. And for women, it's a time when they are probably coming to the end of the menopause. Menopause, as we all know, is a time when women's temperature tends to go up and they tend to have some hot sweats and some hot flushes, and it can be pretty uncomfortable for them. But it tends to leave them feeling somewhat, bereft of having a sex drive. Their libido tends to decrease. But that's also quite similar to a man. Obviously, we don't have the hot sweats, thank goodness, but we do have a slight reduction in our sex drive for most of us. And for men, the issue is around erection dysfunction. Really, it's not being able to get the level of erection that we need for penetrative sex. And similarly with women, they don't obviously have that issue, but their issue is around having a dry vagina. So, how can partners in retirement have an active sex life? So I think the first thing to say really is that how do you deal with those health conditions, those prevailing things that are around, and if you're in a same gender relationship, do those same things hold as well? So let's just go through the background really to what is happening to our bodies, and maybe just cast our minds back to ourselves as baby boomers and what makes us different and stand out from the other generations, the generations that went before us. And I think as baby boomers, we were the people that had sex at 30,000 feet. We were the people that had sex on the beach, so much so that we even developed cocktails to celebrate it. Some of us may have had sex several times a night. Some of us may have even had sex several times a day as well, maybe several different partners. And some of us even went through times of being celibate as well. So there are many, many different experiences that we've all had. But now as we get to our 60s, we realise our bodies aren't quite what they used to be. We may think that we have the body of a 20-year-old. People may say, oh, you look really young for your age. But the truth is, when you look at yourself, your reflection in a shop mirror, we're not quite what we used to be, are we? And whilst we might have a youthful spirit, our bodies can't do the things that they used to do. Or as the joke goes, it takes us all night to do what we used to do all night. So whilst we can become less sexually active as we age, the importance of intimacy in relationships doesn't really go away. We still want to be close to our partners, and we know that those things are really important. If we've got a partner, whether it's the same gender or a different gender, we know that they still want to be close to us. They want to feel close. We want to feel close to them, even though our sex drive may not be what it was. But why do we want to have some sort of active sex life? I suppose the key question is, and I think it's the key thing here is that feel-good factor. It sounds like something off the X Factor. Well, really it is in a way, because it's the feel-good factor. It's the endorphins that our body produces that makes us feel really, really good. That's why we want to go back and enjoy it and have it again. So how do we address some of these issues? So let's talk about women. And for women, if they're the tissues around the vulva and the vagina have lost a lot of their elasticity, and that's just the way it is. And the natural lubricants that are produced by the vagina are not as copious and effective in allowing penetrative sex as they used to be. But there are ways of addressing that, and a water-based lubricant, Astroglide or something like that, which you can easily obtain from Amazon.com, can help address that issue. Similarly, with men, we have a decrease in hormone levels as well, just like women. Women have a decrease in estrogen levels, which decreases their sex drive. For men, we find that they have a decrease in testosterone. So it means a decrease in libido. And that can lead to the erection dysfunction as well, as we mentioned earlier. But it's not just erection problems or having a hard penis or sufficiently hard for penetrative sex, but it means that there can also be problems around ejaculating as well. So let's have a look a bit more. Let's just reflect a bit more on the research. Excuse me. And I think one of the things that emerges from all the academic papers that I've read is that just because you, for example, for men, you cannot have the level of firmness of erection that you used to. Even with a flaccid penis or a semi-erect penis, you can still have ejaculation and an orgasm. So that's the good news. But of course, on the flip side, you may not be able to have penetrative sex. And it appears from surveys in the UK and in the USA, at least 40% of people in their 60s are having regular sex. And in the 70s, it's as many as 30%. So one might say that's good, but actually if you look at it, the flip side, 60% and 70% of people in those two age brackets are having no sex at all. They're really missing out. And that's something, that's worth considering, particularly if you want to have that feel-good factor. So the other thing I would say is that emerges from the research is that the importance of being physically fit. If you've let yourself go a bit and you've got a bit of a pot belly, or let's say you're 10% overweight, you're marginally obese, it's gonna you're not going to have the physical energy and the capability to be able to have an active sex life. But the importance is that you have some sort of sex life. And I think one of the things that emerges very, very clearly from all the academic papers and all the research papers is that you need to have regular sex. And that means at least once or twice a week. How you have that sex is really up to you. And one of the things that the researchers and the people that participated in these studies indicate is that masturbation is really, really important, whether you do it on your own or whether you do it with your partner. And it's the importance of stimulating your sexual organs which seems to be the key thing. It doesn't matter so much the fact whether you stimulate them with your partner or on your own. The fact is, what some of the researchers have said is either use it or lose it. So I think that kind of indicates just the importance of just the need for frequency and so on. So what I'm suggesting you do is, if you want to find out some further information, please click on short URL, that's SHORT, short URL.at/QWX07. That's short URL at .at/QWX07, or better still, Google Better Retirement Life and how to have a happy sex life in retirement, and you can find out more information about how to have an active sex life when you are taking prescription only medicines, if you are a single person or in a same gender relationship. So it's been great talking to you. I hope this has been of some value. Please pop over on the website and you can find out some more interesting information as well. Thank you. Bye bye.